Hey everybody, Cole here with Classic Mini DIY. On today's episode, we're going to move forward with the rod change gearbox and we're going to put together a cross-pin differential, so stay tuned. Now, like I said, we're going to be putting together a cross-pin differential on this episode, and I'm going to talk about why it's so important that if you have the gearbox apart, it's worth spending the extra money and getting a cross-pin diff, because this is going to add so much reliability to your gearbox. It's like a no-brainer in my book. It is a little bit expensive, but you know what's more expensive? Catastrophic engine failure. So a couple quick announcements. If you haven't heard, I am going to International Mini Meet. Woo! I'm so excited about that. If you want updates on that whole trip, that is obviously not until August, but you can head over to my Instagram and from there you'll be able to follow all the stuff that's going on with Classic Mini DIY. Now let's jump over to the workbench. I'd like to show you guys why it's so important to upgrade your differential if you have the gearbox out and disassembled on your workbench, or you're in the middle of an engine build. So let's get over here. Now, to get started, what we're looking at here is a single pin diff casing with nothing in it that's already been disassembled, and then a cross pin differential. Now, the cross pin, pretty straightforward. If you look here, it has 4 pins. They make a cross, and what you end up with is 4 planetary gears, which create a full uniform carrier for one of your output shafts. And I'll kind of show this to you guys in a minute because I know that's a lot of technical terms that you might not know yet. And so the difference is that on a single pin differential, what you have is a single hole on the side with 1 pin that goes across that holds only 2 planetary gears. And so what ends up happening there is you have all the power of your engine being sent to 1 single pin. So if you drive your car really hard or you've got a lot of power, that single pin is put under a lot of stress. So this whole upgrade isn't something that you just want to do if you have a race mini. I keep this in my road car. This is going to go in the new gearbox here, and I'm probably going to get another one for the early 998. Now, a huge shout out, 7 Mini Parts sent this cross pin diff over so I can show you guys this stuff. And if you guys are interested in picking one up and replacing or upgrading yours on your mini, they can help you out. Just head to the link in the description. And if you pick up a cross pin differential with that link, I actually get a small kickback which helps support the channel. So I said earlier that I have an example of why a single pin diff isn't so great. Well, the one that actually came out of this rod change gearbox that we've been rebuilding had a failed diff pin. Now, let me get this closer for you. And what you can see here, this is actually a failure of that pin. So it bent, it had too much power on it at one point. My guess is this is why the whole gearbox sat and was not repaired. I think that whoever had it before probably just took it off the road and then just didn't do anything with it. So you can see here, this is, the first portion of failure. The second bit is the actual planetary gear. So here is one of the planetary gears that managed to make it out without any problems, but this one actually straight up broke teeth off of it. So my guess is whoever had this failure in their car had a really, really bad day when this failed, because it completely seized up the differential, which means that your whole drivetrain would have been seized up and not working. Now, one other thing about the single pin diff is that you want to keep the output shafts that came off of it, because these will be used in your new cross pin differential. Now you can see these are pretty ratty and ugly. Don't worry, I am going to clean these up before it goes back into the gearbox. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and get it assembled so you can see how this all goes together. Now, there are different types of output shafts, which is why it's important that you take this out of your differential and maintain it in the new one. This is for a CV joint. There are other kinds for Hardy Spicers, and then also for the yoke joint type. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is start disassembling our cross pin diff. Now, I'm going to set this in the table vise so that it's a little bit easier for me to work on and to show you. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to need to do is take out the Allen key on this cross pin differential. So we just simply unscrew this Allen key. Don't lose this. We are going to need to keep this just like that. Set that off to the side there. And then once we've done that, we need to actually punch the pin out on this cross pin. So there's a small hole on the other side of your cross pin diff there, and you have a couple options to get this out. The easiest for most of us, if we don't have a full set of small punches, is using a drill bit. This is something that I learned from MED Engineering. They have a video on the cross pin diff as well. You basically take the small drill bit, slide it into that hole, and then just give it a little tap. And now don't worry, that might be a little bit tight. All right, and so then you have your pin out. This is where the Allen key went through. Go ahead and set that off to the side. After that, you need to get the main shaft out, and that's the one that's on the 2 horizontal sides of your main block here. This one is not the next one that comes out, although you might think it would be. All right, main shaft is out, so now we're gonna go ahead and set that down. And then last we have our block with this last shaft on it, so go ahead and take that out. All right, so now that we have this whole thing disassembled, the next step is to, well, reassemble it. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your output shaft here, and don't forget you do need the fiber thrust washer. These come with the cross pin differentials. You slide that down onto the actual output shaft here, and then you just let it down into the actual differential. So it should sit in there and spin, no problems. Looking pretty good. All right, so next up, we're gonna take a little bit of assembly lubricant and we're gonna go ahead and put that on here. Go ahead and set that down in there. Hopefully that stays in place. And now we're gonna take a planetary gear. We're gonna set that on the block, and note these holes right here are offset. So you've got one that's higher up and one that's lower down. The one that's lower down needs to go on this side right here. So you've got your hole opposite, and you mesh it into place, rotate it around, and then slide that sucker in there just like that. And so now we have our first planetary gear in. Next up, we're gonna take our 2 new lubed thrust washers here, one on each side, just like that. Take 2 planetary gears, set one on each side. Boom, boom, just like that. And now we're gonna take our actual shaft here and we're gonna slide this in. Now one thing is the hole is slightly larger on one side than the other, and that is so this post right here can go in. Can't go in this side, but it can go in this side. So we're gonna want it to lay out like this once it goes back in. So we want the big hole facing the hole where the Allen key is.
The first day of the year, Dudley Pippin came to live in the city. He said to his mother, "Nobody knows me here. I don't have a friend. I'll have to tell everybody about."
All right, and with that main shaft pushed in, now all that's left is to return the final shaft here with this hole pointing up and down so that you can get your screw back in here. And one thing that you're gonna wanna do is make sure that the hole is lined up in that main shaft. So you can kind of fit something in there to turn it to make sure that it fits and lines up. But we'll take our final thrust washer, put that on here, and then our final planetary gear right down in there. And then we'll slide our shaft back in. All right, and there we have it. Our full differential is now all put together. And you can see here, our Allen key goes all the way through. What that means is that the bolt should, theoretically, go all the way through as well. So let's go ahead and drop that down in there. So now with that, we have a fully working cross pin differential. So we have 4 planetary gears distributing that load evenly. Now this bolt right here, which I've already tightened down here, doesn't need to be like gorilla tight on there. One of the things that MED talks about in their video is that you can put Loctite on this, so you don't need a ton. But once you have the crown wheel on, now this is just an example, I'm not actually gonna be using this one. Once that goes on, the bolt can't actually come out. It's completely trapped. So with that, the last thing I'm gonna show you, I'm not gonna fully put it together right now, is the last output shaft. So the last output shaft gets its thrust, gets its fiber washer, that goes on here, and then it goes in like so, and then your crown wheel goes right on over this and gets bolted down. Now that does get torqued down, but you can kind of see how this works with all 4 planetary gears in here, and that's pretty cool, right? So instead of just 2 gears with a lot of play in this thing, once you have all 4 planetary gears and that crown wheel on, you have this load distributed on all of those gears, which is pretty neat. So with that, that's pretty much it for this crosspin diff until we go to put it inside our actual gearbox, which isn't gonna be for a little bit because I still have to source a 3.44 ratio gear sets. So until I get that, I won't be ready to finalize this and then also set the preload on the diff housing, etc., etc. So let's jump over to the gearbox. I'm going to show you guys the last little bits of buttoning that up before the diff goes in and we assemble the back side of that gearbox. So last we left, I actually made a small mistake with the gearbox. So when I put this pinion gear on, I accidentally put the washer on first. So I took the washer off, put the pinion gear back on, then the washer, then the nut. That was just a small mistake that someone pointed out to me. I'm glad that they did, because that would have been kind of a frustrating situation. But the next thing that we need to do is actually torque down this pinion nut. So that needs to get torqued down to the spec popping up on the screen right now. And the easiest way to do that, I have found, is to actually set it down on the ground, flipped upside down, and then you have a socket that comes in here with your torque wrench, and then you just torque it down. So let's do that. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is put our speedometer housing on, and that looks something like this. This is gonna slide over these posts right here and into place. Now, these are not gonna get bolted immediately. There's another piece that goes on here. It looks something like this. This one is from the remote box that I have, but I don't have one for this box because it just simply didn't come with one. So what we'll be doing is we're gonna be sliding in our shaft here. After this all gets mounted up, we're gonna slide the shaft in there, and then this one is gonna go in up here, just like that. So let's get our new gasket, and we'll get this all gasketed up. All right, and once that's connected up, the next thing is to slide your speedo drive in, and then this thing is gonna line up with the gap in the main shaft. Now, I'm not sure if this is necessary or not, but I do usually put some lube on this. It just kind of makes your life a little bit easier. You know, it does get oiled up, I suppose, once the engine starts running. Now, normally you probably won't need to hammer that in. My main shaft was a little malformed on the end, so I think that it was just a little tight. The next thing that we need to put on is the actual drive that connects up with your speedometer. And then you have your actual like drive unit here. This has a little bushing in it that does need to go in there, so don't forget that. Kind of wiggle it down on there, and that's gonna get held in there. Now, there is a special sprung retainer for that. Of course, I forgot to get this cleaned, so I am gonna clean this separately from this, but for right now, I'm just gonna leave that loose so that, you know, it doesn't get lost or anything. And then what we can do is go ahead and get another gasket for our cover here, and then this is gonna go on right here. All right, and there is actually one gasket I forgot. There is one that goes right on this unit here. Like I said, I don't have the retainer for this yet, so I'm just gonna set that in there kind of dry, and it can live there until I get a bolt for that. This is pretty much it for this episode of Classic Mini DIY. I know it was a little bit short, but I really wanted to dedicate a whole episode to the cross-pin differential. That's a really important piece of the gearbox here, but on the next one, I'll put the diff on. I'll show you guys how to preload this diff, and then we'll be pretty much done with the gearbox. So, all right, so that wraps up this episode of Classic Mini DIY. I hope you liked it, and I hope it was educational for you with the cross-pin differential. If you guys have any questions about that cross-pin diff or the speedo housing on this gearbox, let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you're interested in picking up a cross-pin differential and you're in North America, head over to 7 Mini Parts, link in the description. A huge shout out to them. They are my long-term parts sponsor, but they also sent me this cross-pin diff, which is awesome. I can't wait to have this whole gearbox together. It's gonna be a really, really nice gearbox for somebody, whoever ends up buying it in the long run. But aside from that, that's it for this episode of Classic Mini DIY, and until the next one, enjoy those minis and motor on.